It is FOMC week, everybody, and this is looking like it is going to be the first one ever with a rate cut. What does that mean? Well, that's what's up for debate. Depending on where you sit in the aisle, some people think we're about to have a massive upward trajectory. Others think a massive crash is happening. One way or the other, though, a major move is coming for your favorite cryptocurrencies. And here in today's show, we're going to break it all down. What should you expect as we get into Wednesday? What will it end up looking like? And what cryptos will benefit the most? Which way will they go? Make sure right now to smash that like button if you're excited for the show. And also make sure, again, 30% of you that are watching and are not subscribed to the channel, remedy that. Just click that subscribe button right now. It's free. It's easy. It helps us. Why not? Those are my reasons you should be smashing that subscribe button right now. Let me throw it over to the rest of my crew, though. I'm joined by the boys. I got Shrum. I got Smay. Smay, winner of the Backyard Brawl this week. That West Virginia team. Hey, congratulations. How are you doing today, my friend?
You know what? I'm doing great. Now, I have to say, guys, even though my West Virginia Mountaineers did win the Backyard Brawl, I am standing amidst a plethora of failures this weekend as the Steelers lost and my fantasy teams lost, except for the one in the trading group. I actually did win that matchup so far. So not a great weekend. It was kind of mid. But how about you?
Well, we fired our coach, so good week. Good weekend over here for Hokie fans everywhere. Crypto as a whole, though, a bad weekend. I will say in the last couple of minutes, a small surge. I think keyword there, small. Crypto prices are surging here a little bit. We're going to break that down in just a couple of minutes. But my weekend was good, Smay. What about Shrum? How was your weekend, my friend?
Oh, it was better than I deserved, Tim. Got to go up to the mid-Atlantic coast there in Ocean City, Maryland, and also skipped on up to Delaware and saw its beautiful beach as well. And when I say beautiful, realize that I'm coming from Florida. I've been to every beach in Florida, pretty much, not every single one, but Clearwater Beach probably, was my favorite, extremely beautiful. I will say that the Ocean City beaches are very, very beautiful. They are good. They get a double thumbs up from me as a beach aficionado, and I was very impressed. I also was there with my lovely wife on Bike Week, and we were not necessarily motorcycle fans, but we were charmed by the beautiful and welcoming culture of the motorcycle enthusiasts that were there for Bike Week. So better than I deserved, Tim.
There we go. What a week. What a week for the trio of us. In chat, everybody, go ahead and drop. What did you guys do this weekend? How was your weekend? Maybe a couple of your responses will get read during the Q&A section. I forgot to say, we are live today. So anyone wondering, this is not a pre-record. We are live. Got the whole crew. The bros are here. We're still getting comments from time to time. Some of you guys are coming back in, and maybe I've been watching a couple of months. You're saying, whatever happened to the bros, the investing bros? Yes, there was a channel name change, but the team is the same. The company is the same. We're still doing all the same stuff. So make sure to get plugged back in and make sure you're smashing that like button. I think a lot of people are going to be coming back out of the woodwork here soon because of the FOMC happening this week. I'm excited about it. No matter what happens, we're going to have a lot of excitement in the next couple of days. I'll go ahead and cheat a little bit. We're going to break it down in probably about 10, 15 minutes or so. We'll break down what to expect with FOMC, what's going to be happening. We will give our predictions on outcomes for what price action could be doing. But I'll go ahead and tell you I'm pretty bullish. Quick word, though, from me. Right? No sponsor today. Quick word from me before we get into stuff. Some of you were already in our Discord. I encourage you to join our free Discord. If you want to go deeper, join the VIP train group as well. I'll tell you more about that later. But some of you were aware, we went to put out a Ondo price prediction video over the weekend, and YouTube took it down. Now, we love YouTube here. YouTube, we're very grateful that you guys have allowed us to build a large community in educating people about the crypto markets, but we're not very happy that you took our video down because we're not quite sure exactly why you took it down. We probably will try to remake that video at some point, either later this week or maybe sometime next week. But one way you guys can help us, if you love the Tim Warren team, if you love the Investing Bros, however you remember us, smash like, hit subscribe, comment below that we are helpful, and share the channel with other people. Tell YouTube that they should not be coming after our channel, and we're not trying to scam or mislead anybody. We need your help with that. With that said, though, let's go ahead and check out what's happening with the bubbles here in the crypto space. Now, last week we had a lot of green. This week, with the exception of that coin right there, AERO. Now, technically, Mantle's a little bullish. MYX is a little bullish. AERO's up. It's up 10%. We'll talk more about that later. If you missed it, some major news coming out with the base protocol that has a big impact on AERO. Look forward to a full-blown video on that tomorrow. But for today, we'll take a look at the charts. We'll take a look at the news. Everybody else seems to be in the red. And I'll tell you right now, it's a very confusing time for me. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I do think there's some pretty hefty manipulation in play as we're starting to trickle in to the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. But let's take a look real quick. You will see on the 1 hour chart. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart real quickly. The last couple hours, Bitcoin is ticking back to the upside. I like what I'm seeing on lower time frames. In fact, you'll probably see this on a lot of them. We do have some green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow on the 1 hour chart. However, that's only going to really be good enough to guarantee us a move back up here towards 115,600, give or take. After that, the question is, can the bulls continue to move on? The problem I am seeing at the moment is we have more negativity as we start to go to the outside, right? Last week, we finished Friday. The daily chart was bullish. The 4 hour chart was bullish. The 1 hour, everything was bullish. And then we had this 4 hour pullback. You can see Bitcoin and a couple other coins have dropped down to their 4 hour smart trail. But we're starting to get some concern on longer time frames right now on the daily chart. I'm going to break this down a little later. I told you earlier I am bullish, but I'm also here to read the charts, right? I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to not show you the negativity on the chart just because I think that we are going to be bullish here. I want to prepare you for both directions. Bitcoin, one of the better coins right now. The money flow is still positive, but you are looking at that red reversal, bearish momentum dot. And earlier today, it looked like the money flow might have been starting to tick to the downside. That's not how it is at the moment and could close bullish, but some other tokens are not necessarily as lucky. For example, if I were to go over here to the likes of Solana, you can see we got some bearish divergence, red reversal, bearish gray dot, and it looks like that money flow is going to the downside. Kind of similar stuff happening here with Chainlink with that gray dot and negative money flow. XRP, one of the few coins actually that still has positive money flow. We'll have to talk about that one later. Ethereum with that gray dot and negative money flow. A lot of coins on here are showing us potential downward movements. This is AVAX, one of the coins we're really bullish on. But at the moment, that red reversal, gray dot, negative momentum, you can't ignore these things. You cannot ignore them at all. These would call for decent little pullbacks across the market. I mean, with AVAX, this smart shell's rising, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a 2650 once again coming back down and touching that support if these sell signals end up holding out. With the likes of Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised to come back down towards $111,000. Ethereum, wouldn't be surprised at all to at least make our way back to 4,300, if not touch that daily smart trail at 4,100. That's asking for a lot. Solana, another coin with sell signals in here. I wouldn't be surprised to see us come back down towards former resistance and touch it with support at 220. What's my point here? I'm bullish. I think we're going to have a bullish outcome later on. We're going to break that down for you with the FOMC talk here in just a couple of minutes, but I would be lying to you to say that everything popping up on the charts is daisies and rainbows, because it is not. Right now, there is some concern as many of your favorite top altcoins are giving us a temporary negative momentum indicator here right now. Bearish divergences are popping up. Sell signals are popping up. Now, I had an emergency live stream earlier today with the Tim Warren Trading Group, the VIP Trading Group. Yes, it's a select group that you can pay to get into to get daily analysis. A lot of daily analysis. Me and several other traders in our group are going live every single day, updating people on great entry spots, take profits, exits. All of that is something you get access to right now on discount. Why? Because next Monday, prices are increasing. So if you've been on the fence and you're saying, man, I want to join the trading group, but I'm just waiting for, I would encourage you, don't wait. You got one more week. Next Monday, prices will be increasing by roughly 50%. I encourage you, go sign up right now. If you don't like it, give it a couple days. I'll tell you what right now. Anyone who signs up and you don't like it in about 2 or 3 weeks, let me know. We will refund you your money. I'm so confident you guys will enjoy the group. If you don't like it in 2 or 3 weeks, let us know. We'll refund your money. By the way, my team is hearing that for the first time ever. So Shrum is probably in the background right now, pulling his hairs out. And if anyone asks why he's balding, it's because I do things like that all the time. He had a very luscious head of hair before we started this company. I make him lose his hair every single day because I do these impromptu things that he's not ready for. And I'm just kidding. But yes, you guys, if you sign up for that group and in 2 weeks you don't like it, you're like, man, I'm not learning anything, I hate this group, let me know. We'll give you your money back. No problem. But I encourage you, act now so you get locked into those lower prices. Long story short, why am I bringing this up? We talked about this earlier. I warned everybody earlier, hey, there is a chance right now with these signals on the daily chart. You have to be cautious. You have to be responsible. The reality is it looks like at this moment, with a daily chart not looking great, with 4-hour charts still showing us weakness across the board, it's not ridiculous to look at some of these support levels, like, again, Solana 220, Bitcoin, you go back down here towards, again, like 111,000 down here. It's not ridiculous to suggest these things are possible. However, I want the record to reflect. We talked about this with the weekly chart as well. Some of you remember that we had a weekly sell signal come in a month and a half ago. Back in July, we had a weekly sell signal, but it's very much looking like on the weekly chart, we're canceling it out. Why? Because during periods of time with exceptionally bullish action, weekly sell signals get ignored. Well, the same is true for daily sell signals. In fact, I'll show you a couple of them. When you look at extremely bullish periods, I'm not going to go back crazy in history. Let's just focus on this period right in here. Let's focus between October of 2024 and then the all-time high in December of 2024. You can see when looking at this chart, right? I have the Luxalgo signals and overlays on here. Best indicator out there. Encourage you, get it if you can. But we didn't touch the daily smart trail between October 11th and then again till December 19th, okay? We're talking about 2 months of, is that 2 months? So all of October, pretty much November, December, 2.5 months, a lot of time here. No touches. Yet despite that, during this extremely bullish time, which of course included the presidential election, which sent things flying, you saw several sell signals. We had one right in here. We had one right in here. We had one right in here. And none of them, we had 3 failures to come back and touch the projected smart trail action. What does that mean? It means during times of exceedingly bullish news, sell signals get ignored. All right. So it's not as simple as just learning your technical analysis and then blindly following it. You have to understand how to read technical analysis in the season that you're in, while also kind of playing out in your background, man, how do manipulators move in these time periods? How do whales move at these different times? That's what we're kind of asking the question right now. The news is telling us things should be bullish. We're about to have rate cuts for the first time in a year. First time all of 2025, we've been waiting in anticipation for these rate cuts to come, saying they're going to be bullish, and yet the price is not responding that way. Why do I say there's manipulation? Some of you are going to say, Tim, there's Tim talking about manipulation. And let me explain to you and show you how we are clearly sitting and looking at manipulation over the last couple of days. Clearly, Bitcoin, after getting back up here above 116,000 last week on Friday, it's been coming back down Saturday, Sunday, and even today is a blue day for Bitcoin, despite the fact that when I flip you over and take a look at the stock market, let's look at the S&P 500, for example. It opened bullish today, and it has a white candle, right? It closed Friday at 65.84, opened today at 66.03, and continued to climb up. You take a look at other stocks. Of course, we have some bigger ones. For example, Circle. Crypto coin. Circle's up 5.82%. Tesla is up 3.3%. Now, this one had a massive open. It has corrected a little bit on the day, but ultimately still bullish in the grand scheme of things when you're looking across the board. GME is up 2.52%. The stocks are pumping right now, yet crypto prices are falling. Of course, all crypto prices except for AERO. I'm going to save AERO's chart for later on in the video. My overall point here is why. There's no particular reason. There wasn't a bunch of bad news that came out about crypto over the weekend. There wasn't bad news that happened this morning. In fact, as you're scrolling through your news feeds, every story you can find about the crypto markets would make you believe that crypto is sitting in a great spot and is about to have massive adoption. So what does that mean? Guys, when prices are coming down, it means more people are selling than buying. If there's no good reason to sell, you can just about bet your bottom dollar it's not retailers like you and me that are selling. It's the whales. It's the big money. Why are they selling? Because they know things that you and I don't know. They know that crypto is a very bright future. They know that right now, stocks are overbought. Most of them are sitting at or close to all-time highs. And for the most part, cryptocurrencies are severely oversold. The future of tokenization, the future of TradFi, the future of how you buy assets and stocks and everything else is through Web3 blockchain technology. Cryptocurrencies like Chainlink and Ondo and Sui and Cardano and AVAX and HBAR, these are a big part of the future on how even TradFi will operate. And yet the prices are dropping. Why? Composite man. If everything seems bullish, don't let retail win. Confuse the crap out of them until they are bored, confused, and they give up. I don't think everyone's this way, but how many of you in chat right now are frustrated? Go off my screen real quick. Go off my chart. We're having a heart-to-heart with the community. How many people in chat right now are confused, bored, frustrated, and you are on the verge of saying, I'm giving up on cryptocurrency. I'm giving up on trading this stupid market where good news equals bad price action, bad news equals bad price action, and the only time we ever pump is when you would least suspect a pump ever. How many of you are in that boat? Put a raise hand chat in there, put a 1 in chat. I think there's a lot of people. Mongoose Lab says I'm burnt out. There's a lot of people who are confused, frustrated, and are on the verge of giving up if you haven't given up already. No, there's some of you right now that are saying, Tim, that's not me. I understand the game. I'm going to be here. That's good. I'm glad, but I'm not going to just sit here and act like nobody is on the verge of giving up. I'll tell you this, if I didn't have so much experience now over the last 5 years watching this form of manipulation, I would be in the camp of being frustrated, bored, and wanting to give up. But because I've seen this play out over and over and over in only a short 5 years of experience, and I've talked to people who have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years who are saying, yep, this is the game. If there wasn't a whole theory called the composite man theory written by a man named Richard Wyckoff that lays out this playbook on how the whales manipulate markets to get rid of retail investors, I would be, like you, frustrated and considering selling it all. You want to know what that feeling means? It means we're close to something big. If they can convince your gut and your boredom to get you out of the markets, to convince you to hit that sell button and say, I don't want to be here anymore, that is the minute they buy and they take it off. Some of you know that feeling. It's a meme out there, but it's a very real meme. It's based on truth. The pump will happen the minute you hit sell. Don't ask me why. The minute you buy, there seems to be a pullback. The minute you sell, there's a massive pump. Why? Because the composite man knows what they're doing. It's only the patient, the perseverant, those who stick around during the boring who get to reap the rewards when everything seems to be going good, right? And we'll do more analysis here in a little bit, but ultimately, that's what you need to understand. The charts are not sitting in great places. There are signals on those charts that are telling you, hey, not everything is good right now, but we are 2 days away, 48 hours away from a man named Jerome Powell taking the podium, answering questions about the future of the economy here in the United States, telling us how much he decided to cut rates, him and his team, the Fed. Did they cut rates by 25 basis points? Did they cut it by 50? Did they do even more? That's the question. And why are they doing it? And what do they see the future? And everything will probably have a lot more clarity at that time. It's time to transition into our discussion. I want to bring Shrum in here for this portion. I want to talk to you guys, though, about what do we expect here in 2 days. I put a poll in chat. I'm interested in what you guys are saying. There's some different scenarios, Shrum, and I want to get your opinion on this. I'll give my take, and I want to get yours too. So I asked everybody, how will this week play out for cryptocurrency? Option 1, will we rally into the FOMC and then crash? Option 2, will we trend down to the FOMC and then rally? Option 3, will we rally into the FOMC and then keep on rallying to the upside? And then option 4, will we trend down and then continue to crash? Like the rest of you guys, I think the two least likely scenarios are C and D, right? I don't think we do both of them. I do think the most likely outcome is either we start to rally late tonight, tomorrow morning, and then we do have some form of a pullback, or we end up trending down in the FOMC and then start the rally. And last week, 100% of me was sitting in camp, we will rally early in the week and then have a little pullback after the announcement is made. Why? Because there's this thing called buy the rumor, sell the news. That's very common during situations like this. But yet that has not been playing out at all, which is making me, Shrum, believe I will not be surprised to see this downtrend that started on Saturday continue until Wednesday, and potentially, instead of being a sell or buy the rumor, sell the news, is it potentially a fade the rumor? Sell into people expecting an early rally. And by the way, I'm in that camp. I thought there was going to be an early rally. But is there such a mind game going on? Is there such 3D chess going on with whales that thinking retail would be excited, they're selling off and killing people into thinking, yep, that's it. We're having good news and the bull market's over. That means the bear market's here, only to actually have a fade the rumor buy on the day that we actually get the rate cuts. Shrum, what is your opinion on what this looks like the rest of this week?
Yeah, I think we could come down as low as you don't need to go to my screen, but like 113.5, maybe even 113.3. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's where I'm seeing some long-term support maybe coming down that low. Because I do agree with the consensus is a trend down into FMC and then rally. The reality is the reason I say that is because anybody who's gotten long on Bitcoin for this FOMC event is already in, right? So now the people who there's not much movement, and the movement that is there is just hedge funds and people taking profit as they should, right? You buy low to sell high if you're just trading. So this is, I think, just traders kind of coming off their positions, and there's not a lot of new buyers to come in and buy because there's such a huge event coming. Everybody's positioned. Be very grateful that we're positioned above 110,000 instead of south of 110,000, because if we got a negative outcome from FOMC, then that 110,000 could quickly become 99,000, right? And we, at this point, we want to see price going higher and higher. Going back and revisiting 100,000 seems like a debate that's already been settled. So I'm very grateful we're on this side of 110. And I think that we continue to come back lower. And I think 113.4 is very much in the cards. And then it's really a toss-up, Tim. We've seen this again and again and again. Because then the question is like, okay, that's kind of a level we could come back down to. You're going to have much more drilled in TA on levels we could go maybe even south of that. But ultimately, I think once we get to the actual decision, 2 p.m. New York time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's really going to be a free-for-all, right? So obviously it's bullish because they're opening the valve on money. They're making money cheaper, and that is just going to permeate through housing, right? Now more people are going to go buy housing. Now Home Depot is going to get more sales, right? And then also more people can buy cars because that interest rate comes down. More people are going to go buy new Teslas. More people are going to buy new Chevys and trucks and BMWs, whatever it is. There's going to be more economic activity. The velocity of money expands. Money becomes cheaper. Interest rates come down. It is growth. It is growth. But we have no idea what's going to happen in the first 24, 48 hours because the hedge funds know that retail is going to be very exuberant, going to be very bullish. Hedge funds know that retail tends to see things in black and white, when in reality, the hedge funds are sitting there saying, see things in black and white. When you think black, I'm going to hit the white button. When you think white, I'm going to hit the black. That's just the way that they work. So, of course, we have no idea what's going to happen the first 24 hours. It's going to be a crapshoot. There's a chance we see Bitcoin just lurch higher, the S&P lurch higher. We shall see. But it is a bullish event. And regardless of how far we have to come back down to find support after the decision, I'm very confident this is going to be a bullish event. And there might even be a buy the news, sell the rumor, buy the news type thing, as you just illustrated.
Yeah, I think as I continue to kind of unpack this for people, this is where it gets really complicated. And I want to be very clear when I explain what I'm about to explain. The world of investing and trading, when you're brand new, it can feel like only astrophysicists can figure this stuff out. I remember the first time I saw anyone charting price action, and I thought, man, this person must have like an 8-year college degree to understand the science of what's going on here. Found out later, actually, charts are not that complicated. And let me tell you guys, some of you guys have been watching for a while. Hopefully you enjoy me, you like our team. I think I'm a decently intelligent human being. The biggest asset about me is I'm a hard worker, I'm truthful, and I do the work to figure things out. But I don't think I have an IQ of 160. I think there are other people out there with much larger brains than me, and yet I've figured out some systems and strategies that absolutely work that have caused me to be a profitable trader and a profitable investor. And I'm helping teach other people how to figure these things out. But it's not simple. There are complicated steps you have to get used to. And part of that is embracing the manipulation that I've been talking about. And Shrum just kind of laid out that concept of the composite man and these institutions. If you're thinking, let's go black, they'll hit the white button. If you think let's go white, they'll hit the black button. Think of it like this. It's like playing a football game when you're a little child and all the fifth graders are playing the 10th graders. Even if it's 10 fifth graders against 4 10th graders, the 10th graders are going to win every single time. Why? Because they're bigger, they're more physical, they're faster, they're more developed, they're smarter. They have all the assets. They have all the skills. In the world of investing, retailers will never, ever be able and allowed to dictate the market direction. We can learn technical analysis. We can study the news. We can do everything that a textbook tells us you need to understand to make money. And yet we can do everything the way we're supposed to. And the composite man and the whales say, let's shake this up. Why? Because they have more money than us. They are the bigger kids on the playground. They will win every single time. So the key to winning is not simply just learning texts. It's not just learning how does a chart formation look. It's not just saying, how do I do research and which websites are the best to look at? No. It's about putting all that basic information together and then also understanding the composite man's game of manipulation. What does that mean? It's almost like if you're the fifth grader on that playground playing football, you secretly have to go against your own team and just play with the 10th graders on a different level. You have to learn to think the way the 10th graders think. But ultimately, right now, we are watching as long as they can keep price suppressed, they will do so. They being the whales, they being the institutions. They will keep the price suppressed until they deem it's time we're ready to actually make money, and then they'll let the price go to the upside. You can fret about it. You can cry about it. You can say this isn't fair, and you can quit, which is exactly what they want you to do. They're not shedding any tears for any retail investor out there who's frustrated with their investing. They're completely fine. In fact, they're laughing the more and more they see people arguing on the internet about what's going on. But if you stay patient and you learn how to think this way and you learn how to play their game, you'll know they like making money. You'll know that these assets we're talking about right now, in the crypto space. We don't talk about a bunch of meme coins or little degenerate coins. We're talking about blue chip cryptocurrencies that have already shown, due to partnerships and relationships, that they are a part of the future of not just crypto, but of the world operating in general. We know that eventually the composite man will release the suppression and price will go up. Is that tomorrow? Is it the next day? Is it next week? Is it a month from now? I don't know. I'm reminded of that clip from The Office where Dwight's talking about the end of the world and how you have to prepare in your bunker, and Jim is harassing him with could be 5 days, could be 10 days, could be one. You don't know when. I think it's closer than the next month or two. I think we're actually probably days or at least a week away. But the fact is, if you think that this is going to get easy, if you think this will become simple, if you think that you'll get everything called right the first time, sorry, no, you're not. The composite man will continue to confuse you with everything they have. That's why sometimes it's best to be patient. It's best to learn to play their game, learn to read the chart specifically for what they're saying, combine it with the news. And sometimes, yes, you do have to take a guess. Sometimes you do have to take a little bit of a gamble. But that's where the next part of making sure your investor comes in, making sure you have proper risk management. Everybody loses money. Guess what? Even composite men sometimes, even the whales strategically lose money from time to time. What makes wealthy people good at investing and poor people or bad investors bad at it has nothing to do necessarily with winning percentages. It has to do with risk management. It has to do with how much you're willing to risk and how risky you're getting, how safe you're getting. All of these are the difference makers between people being profitable and not profitable, because the scenario I just laid out for you. Oh, I just hit my computer. That could have been really bad. The scenario I just laid out for you, if you're new here, you probably are listening to saying, okay, so what Tim's saying is don't invest anymore because the game is rigged. What Tim's saying is stay away from it because it's confusing. They're liars. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of people can make money. I'm making money. People in our trading group are making money every single day. But the reason why is because they stopped crying about it. They stopped whining about it. They've learned how to play the game, even if the game doesn't seem fair on paper. That's how you win. And that's what I encourage you guys. Stick around. Huddle on. I got a hat over here. Don't get blurry, Tim. Don't get blurry, Tim. Two hat Tim.
Nice.
Got a
Now
hodl.
we're cooking.
You got to hodl. You got to stick with it. And you got to learn to play the game. Ultimately, I just told you guys. I gave it. Shrum gave his take. I'm bullish on the FOMC. I think everything leads into the money printers being turned back on heavily. I think everything leads into, with liquidity coming in. We're not talking about just one rate cut. Whether we do 25 basis point cuts or 50 basis point cuts, or whether he listens to Donald Trump and goes like 1.5 to 200 basis point cuts. This won't be the last one. We're moving into a time period of quantitative easing, which isn't necessarily good for inflation, but it's very good for risk markets. And I'm loving the confusion happening because, again, I told you last week, I would have told you my prediction would be we rally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then crash Wednesday night. Not crash so much as pullback. But as we are dipping, trending downwards early in the week, it makes me believe the whales know something that we don't know. And so for that reason, I'm watching the charts. I'm watching how they're moving. And I'm saying, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait for the support to get hit. I'll wait for the whales to say, let's hit that buy button. And then I'll buy with them and I'll make money later this week. Guys, I still think all-time highs are coming in the next couple of weeks. But be patient. Be vigilant. We're riding a bucking bronco right now. You got to hold on for dear life. Let's break away from here. We have some questions coming in later in the show. Let's talk about some stories, Shrum, that people do need to know about. We've laid out our thoughts about the FOMC, but some other big things are happening. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to put out a full video on this. Crux of Crypto, our brother channel, he's going to be going live, giving very in-depth analysis on fundamentally what's going on with this story. But going to my screen, we got some breaking news here today. Some of you have seen this, some of you have not. But Jesse Pollock is saying that Base is exploring a launch of a network token. You guys can see here, I'm not playing any sound, but that is Jesse Pollock right there. He's laying out the framework. Why is this significant? Go off my screen here, Smay. The significance of this is that Base, a protocol built with Coinbase, the second largest exchange in the world, is the greatest layer 2 solution to Ethereum. What's Ethereum? It's the number one altcoin out there. But they don't have a token, right? Coin is a stock you can invest in, but Base is simply a protocol. Nothing about it is a token. You can't go invest in Base. And now they're talking about making it. One of the biggest reasons on this channel, we have kind of been out on layer 2 solutions like Polygon and Optimism and Arbitrum that have not been performing well, by the way. So we kind of were right about being off on those. Why? Because Base was sucking up everything. But now, if you want to invest in crypto and not just in coin, the stock, if they end up making a token called Base, the price of that token will skyrocket. It will very quickly be the number one market cap of layer 2 solutions to Ethereum. And I will be back in on layer 2s. Why? Because Base is already the best layer 2. I now can just get access to it via tokenization. Shrum, what else do we need to know about this? Are you bullish on Base, or do you think this is going to be a financial flop for investors moving forward?
Yeah, well, earlier this morning, this was kind of the speculation that there could be a Base coin. If you go to my screen here, Smay, Brian Armstrong has now retweeted this and then pinned it. So Brian Armstrong says, we're exploring a Base network token. Now, the word exploring is still there, right? That is still a non-commitment word, okay?
Yeah.
If you're exploring marriage to a woman, that does not necessarily mean that marriage is happening, right? You're exploring. There's still exploration, and that exploration may yield the answer that they shouldn't do it. So understand all of that. Yeah. But this is big. This is really big. Ethereum, is still trying to scale. Base is an excellent layer 2 solution, and it's kind of had a vacuum of, well, what do I buy to get exposure to this awesome layer 2 that is Base, that is the product of Coinbase? And the answer is, I guess, ecosystem coins of Base. And of course, if you're a bit of a veteran in crypto, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're newer to crypto, newer to investing, you might be saying layer 2 Ethereum. What is all this? Just stick around, hit the subscribe button. go check out Crux's channel as well. We're here to help explain all of this stuff. But for those of you who are right in line, you understand the impact of this. This is big. And you might be asking the question, well, what happens to the ecosystem coins that are in base? Do they go higher? Do they go lower? I will say I'm concerned about this because I am an Aerodrome holder, which is the number one DEX on base. And so that's the main concern I have. I'm not a huge holder of it. I have a pretty small percentage, my overall portfolio. But Tim, what are your thoughts on Aerodrome? I know we kind of thought about it a little bit earlier this morning. Do we think that Aerodrome's going to go higher, going to go lower? Is that maybe not even the right question?
Yeah, well, so here's the question. The question isn't will it go higher or will it not, because that's already been answered. It clearly went off. Go to my screen here. This is what Aerodrome's chart looks like on the 4-hour chart. The news this morning, just the rumor of it, sent the price of Aerodrome from 118 to at one point as high as $1.36. After a small pullback, we've kind of camped out now for the last couple hours in the world of $1.31, but clearly still a pretty big increase from this morning. 10% roughly is where we're at, despite the fact that other cryptocurrencies, you look at Tau, 3% down, HBAR, 3% down, SUI, 5% down, other cryptos have come to the downside. I think Bitcoin is like literally hovering right where we opened. Other than that, though, it's a sea of red across this crypto board. Why is Aerodrome benefiting from this? Why don't I was going to say benefacting from this. That's not even a word. I'm going to go into more detail in tomorrow's video. Right? I'm gonna lay out like the 101 base level you need to understand why is Aerodrome so bullish. And in fact, tomorrow I'm gonna tell you about 3 coins that this news means that you need to own. So make sure to check out tomorrow's video. If you want a deeper dive, if you're a nerd for the information and down to the core level of the fundamentals, that's not my field house. That's not where I'm gonna go. Crux of Crypto will go in depth tomorrow in his live show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking down for you why this is so good for Aerodrome, but still there's questions, there's things we need to look at. Ultimately, it's because Aerodrome is the DEX, the number one DEX for base. Go off my screen here. We might look at the chart here in a second again, but I feel like today's way more of an education day because the charts are kind of just, they are what they are. If you don't know what a DEX is, DEX stands for a decentralized exchange. All right, so it's a big part of crypto. I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but ultimately, when money is flowing, that money has to flow somehow, some way. So if Base is the number one layer 2 solution for Ethereum, why is it a layer 2? So that money transacts fluently in all the types. It has to do it through somewhere, through some sort of DEX. Bring on Aerodrome. This news is bigger because while there's already a lot of money flowing via the Base system, imagine if a new token gets implemented, not just from the Base protocol, the usage of Base will increase. The purchase of the Base token will increase. Guess what has to be utilized more and more and more and more? The DEX, which is Aerodrome. Now, there is going to be a little question mark because we have a bridge potentially that we're going to see a token of Base bridge to the Solana ecosystem, and that's where I'm going to talk a little bit more in tomorrow's video. There's some coins over in Solana's world that could benefit from this as well, but right now, leading indicator says no DEX on the market will benefit more than Aerodrome. And so on a day where everything else is selling off, Aerodrome is up 10%. And that is an early sign right now. The question is, will it go up or will it not? It did go up. The question, will it continue to go up? What do I say? How about you watch tomorrow's video and I'll tell you what I say over there. Really quickly, let's go take a look at the Aerodrome chart because I did tell you guys we would take a look there. We talked about the 10% upside. We've made this whole move. What you need to know is that over the weekend, Aerodrome came back down after a fake out. Aerodrome was in a rising channel a couple of weeks ago here early in September. We had a fake out, a break to the upside, and then boom, last week we pulled back down into the formation. This weekend, we pulled back down towards the support level, and this news sent us back up above this resistance level, breaking to new highs we haven't seen in action here since back in August. So we'd really like to see Aerodrome go even higher. On the longer time frame, we're still monitoring the fact that Aerodrome here a couple of weeks ago hit a massive resistance level, a long-term downtrend of resistance going back all the way to the highs of April of 24. This is a resistance level that if/when we make a big breakout on Aerodrome, will send the price to the moon. And I don't think it's going to be the top price of Aerodrome overall, especially on the news we're seeing today, but a target that traders will look at and say this is a spot to watch based on this formation is going to be in the world of $8.92, give or take. When do we make that break, though? That's the question. We're very close. It's very normal to hit resistance, get one more lower high, and then make a big move to the upside. What we're looking for is a break back above like $1.60. Let's get above $1.60, something we haven't been at since back in December of 2024. And all of a sudden, you're feeling really good about a major new all-time high run closer towards $9 here on Aerodrome. We have to do, though, in the first bit, though, let's keep this bullish momentum wave going. Here, the 4-hour chart. You can see we have a lot of bullishness, but we are starting to see a little bit of a rounding off on the 1-hour chart. You're going to see on the 1-hour indicators here from Luxalgo, we've run into some pretty big resistance. We're extremely overbought at the moment on the 1-hour chart, so a small correction's not out of the cards. We need to see the 4-hour chart. Can we sustain and stay above this smart trail? Can we make a move and stretch up to these higher levels? And then, of course, you start making your way out to the daily chart. Buy signals in play. Can we make our move all the way up here, get that clean break above 160 into the red cloud? And I'm not saying once we get up there, you don't see something like this with a pullback to support, but it's when we break that 160 mark that you start to feel really good that this red line right here, this resistance level, is going to turn into strong support. After that, you're looking for a buyback, probably on some form of a pullback, and then we're looking at a big run up to closer towards $9 for Aerodrome. Now, I just gave you a lot of TA that I'm going to have to give you a little bit more on tomorrow's show, so don't miss that out either. But Aerodrome, again, one of the only cryptocurrencies that is in the green today, and it is because of that massive story. We might be seeing a base token come in very, very soon. Some other good news to be aware of, and we're not going to get a lot of into this because we're going to jump into some Q&A here in a second. So start dropping some questions in chat. Smay and Shrum start launching chat for a good Q&A here. But more stories coming out today. Friday, September 19th, the U.S. President Trump will speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping to discuss a couple of topics. Trade and tariffs. That's been the big one here more recently. Of course, the newest story of that one is that Trump is telling all of NATO nations to threaten, at least, 100% tariffs on China until China puts pressure on Russia to end the war with Ukraine. Very interesting. I think we could discuss that. I'll wait for questions on that one, but that's very interesting. But really good discussion. They'll talk about security. Obviously, with different things going on with the fentanyl crisis and a lot of other things, China's going to be involved there. I'm sure that's part of the conversation. But then another one that's really big talking point amongst the American youths, TikTok. What's the deal with TikTok? Are the Chinese still stealing our information and spying on us? What can we do to secure that and keep people using one of the higher used social media platforms, but remain safe for security purposes here in the United States? For just a little bit on this, that's the news headlines. I don't have a lot of thoughts. I'm not going to go into more detail there, but I'm going to give Shrum a second. Any clarification you want to give people about the significance of these stories?
I would just remember, the rare earth metals. Rare earth minerals and rare earth magnets. That is a huge part of China and the U.S. trade. So I'm also paying close attention to headlines around that. In this last volley of, or I guess you could say flurry of headlines that we got this morning from a press briefing from the U.S. side, there wasn't really a whole lot of mention around those rare earth metals, but because the focus was on kind of TikTok and then trade in general. But in order to have chips, in order to be competitive in AI, those rare earth minerals have got to flow. We don't have them. China does. That is a huge piece of the puzzle. So that's what I'm paying attention to. But Xi Jinping, Donald Trump continue to be nice to each other. But remember, they're at the very, very tippy top. They have nothing but incentives to have a smile on their face and call everybody friend. It's the aides that are kind of at the second, third, and fourth level of negotiations that really understand where this is going to go. So those are the ones you want to be paying attention to. Donald Trump is always going to talk the game. He's always going to talk his book, which is America is great and we love everybody and everybody's great. And when he has to get tough and get mean, it's very clear. But that's the exception to the overall tone that you want to have as a leader of the free world, especially is just smiles, good vibes. So rare earth metals, though, those rare earth minerals are extremely important. Don't forget about those. And I expect some fireworks around that on Friday or going into this weekend. If we don't hear anything about it, that's actually somewhat encouraging because that means that they've probably reached a consensus and that's good to go.
Very, very good. Let's get into some Q&A here. Starting off, J-Bot says, love this channel. Great education. Love you, J-Bots. Let's do this. Let's smash the like button, everybody. If you guys love this channel as well and you have not smashed like, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you want to go deeper, like I said, want to make sure we are clear here in 1 week, the VIP trading group. Great. If you love education, that group is going to enrich you very much so. Go check it out, though. Prices are increasing a week from today. Please get the locked-in price right now for the rest of eternity. Unless you cancel your membership, you'll be locked into lower prices. So act on it right now. Go check out the VIP trading group. Let's look at some questions, other questions here in chat. Michael Ellsworth says, a downtrend going into the cut is bullish in my mind. If the rally starts into the cut Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be very hesitant that it continues post-cut. Yeah, I that's kind of, Michael, I think you're in the same boat as I am. I would love to see this dip continue / go sideways into the markets on FOMC day. That oftentimes does show you kind of what whales are doing. I think the only other bullish thing, let's pretend we start getting bullish here in a couple of minutes. Let's say we close out Monday bullish. The Asian markets are bullish. We have a bullish day all day tomorrow. If there is a pullback and correction happening Wednesday morning, that too would be bullish. I think that the worst case scenario for us would be we resume a bull run. We get back up close to, but not quite to all-time highs for Bitcoin. Other altcoins have a nice rally all the way up into the FOMC meeting decision. At that point, I'm not going to promise you we pull back, right? There's a world in which we continue the rally, but that's the one that would probably give me the most concern, that we have a pullback after FOMC. Everything that I'm watching right now, as of 3:47 on Monday, September 15th, so things could change. I could update my information, my thoughts about this in the next couple of hours, but right now, I'm really leaning towards, I think this correction stays constant. I think that there's no reason yet to have a massive buy up right now. I think that we very well might see a fade the rumor, making all retail thinks that we're going to be bullish. By the way, I want to be very open and honest here, because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and try to pretend I said something I didn't. I was team last week. I was team we will rally early in the week and have a small sell-off on Wednesday. I'm not on that team anymore. So I'm one of the retail investors who assumed we would be bullish. Guys, I entered longs over the weekend, on Friday, expecting a good run early in the week. You know what I did today? I closed those longs barely in profit. Why? Because there's a chance they take off and I miss out on it, but I'm being responsible. And I'm saying, you know what? Right now, the charts do not give me this good, warm, fuzzy feeling that we're going to be rallying for the next day and a half. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I took profits a little too early. But I'm going to wait, because I have this sneaky suspicion we will have a little bit more of this pullback. People are going to get very confused. There's going to be this assumption, here comes cuts, but we're crashing. That must mean a big crash is coming. And then the whales buy. And then I buy. And then we make money. That's what that's what I'm thinking at this point. That might change, but that's what I'm thinking at this point. Nathan Patel says, Tim, I have been watching your channel since 2024. Thanks, Nathan. That's awesome. Glad to have you there as long. At that time, you had liked ICP coin. Okay, so it's back in earlier 2024 if you were watching then. You had liked ICP coin. You don't think ICP will do well during this bull run. Well, that's not quite it, Nathan. So let me make sure I'm very clear with people when it comes to what I hold. But by the way, one of the perks of being in the VIP trading group, the Tim Warren trading group, is you get access to my portfolio. You can see what I hold, what I don't hold, the percentage of splits, everything. By the way, my portfolio is not perfect at the moment. I need to make some switches on it, but I still have some dry powder. I'm making some moves here. So, but if anyone is in there and they see, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. I'm not going to tell you everything I own, but I don't own ICP right now. Does that mean that I hate ICP? Not necessarily. I'm a big believer in being limited in what you own. I think that there are hundreds. There might be thousands, but let's just use the word hundreds here. I believe that there will be hundreds of altcoins that make people money in this bull run. And I'm not talking about like a couple dollars of pocket change. I'm talking about there's, I think, hundreds of coins that could be life-changing money. Do I own 100 different coins? No, I don't. That's too much. I do this full-time for a living. Yes, I have a wife. I have 2 children. I have 2 children under the age of 2. So that means we're very, very busy. So I'm not just staring at my computer screen all day, every day, but I have the luxury, because of you guys and how awesome you are, to do this full-time. And yet I know my limitations with how many charts and news articles I can read on a weekly basis. I'm a big believer in not just buying something because somebody else told me to buy it. You might be saying, but Tim, you have a YouTube channel where you're telling us what to buy. I'm not a financial advisor. I am telling you what I see in the charts. I'm telling you what I see in the news. I'm telling you what I think about particular projects in the hope that you will utilize my level of experience to inform yourself on what to research to decide for yourselves. I rejoice in our VIP trading group when someone makes a trade of a coin that I didn't make, but they said, Tim, I learned your tactics on coin A and I used it on coin B and I just made $10,000 last month. That is awesome. And I didn't make a single dime from it. Why? Because it means that person didn't just take my fish, right? I put trades in all the time. I tell people, hey, we're in a long XRP right here. We're in a short this coin right here. We're going to take profit levels. And some people copy trade me. You can do that. That's what I'm here for. But what I love even more than that, when people say, you know what? I see what Tim's doing with XRP, but if I applied the same analysis and tactic to this coin that Tim never talks about, I can make a lot of money. That is awesome to me. I want to see you guys succeed that way because that means whether I retire a year from now or not, which I'm not going to, when I'm gone, if I go on a vacation, or if I'm sick or something else, I don't want you to stop making money because I'm not with you day in and day out. I want you to learn for yourself. In a nutshell, all this about ICP. I don't hold ICP. That does not mean I don't think it is a good coin. It means at the moment I own 15 coins. I don't want to have to, on a daily basis, stay up to date with all of the information on 147 coins. I have 15. I'm used to them. I'm following them. I'm regularly checking their charts, and I'm regularly keeping myself up to date with their news. That, to me, is a good portfolio. Some of you can tolerate a little bit more. Some of you can't tolerate 15. But I'm not saying that ICP is trash. I'm saying it's not a top 15 hold for me. That doesn't have to be you. Use the teachings that Shrum, myself, and Crux utilize. And if you have decided for yourself that ICP is a good hold, go for it, my friend. I love it. I'm not discouraging you from holding ICP. I'm not going to make a video next week telling you why ICP will suffer. What I'm saying is it doesn't have my attention because I think there's at least 15 other coins out there that are more worth my attention. And that's just my opinion. Hopefully that suffices and helps answer the question. Shrum, do you have a thought on that?
ICP has not been associated with enough institutions in the institutional cycle, right? That I think is the bear case. The bull case is that all as the tide rises, it will raise all ships. So ICP, I think, is a recognizable enough name and has decent enough tech to not be ignored in the altcoin season scenario, right? So that's kind of my thought on it. And I have 18 utility coins and a handful of meme coins that you have to join our group to find out which ones I hold. But you don't want to get too much more than 20. I think if you're getting 20, there's, either you're a pro degen trader, right? Or you've got some kind of crazy strategy that if you can be profitable with more than 20, that's awesome. But if you're just somebody who's, just wanting to be competitive in trading, keep it under 20 and really keep it under 15 probably.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone's going to be different. If anyone expects when you join the group, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to see that Tim and Crux and Shrum have the identical portfolios. No, we don't own the same numbers. We definitely have crossovers. There's a couple of coins we all three of us own, but I could guarantee you right now, Crux is going to own the most, but that's because Crux is a crazy man. And I mean that with all love and sincerity. Crux, I don't know if he sleeps. When I look at all of the research that he does and how much the amount of different tokens he talks about, I don't think he sleeps. He might be AI when I really think about it. Shrum's a little bit more comfortable to hold a little more coins than me. I'm probably the more conservative of the three of us. But the point is, it's not about what I think, what Crux thinks, what Shrum thinks. It's really about what you think. Utilize us as tools to help inform you. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree with little things, but it's ultimately, what do you think? What do you want to do? If you want to hold ICP, go for it, my friend. But I agree with Shrum. In a nutshell, that was one of my reasons for it to fall out of my top 15 holds. Was I gravitated towards coins that I saw having relationships with more institutional investors? I'm a big believer that the world of tokenization, real-world assets, and institutional money is going to be the biggest driver of profits. And therefore, ICP was falling behind in that camp. Doesn't mean you can't make money on it. Doesn't mean you don't have your own research to say, you know what, actually ICP is going to about to 10x here in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You do your research. If you think so, go for it, my friend. All right, let's keep going on here. More questions being asked. Yeah, Doug asked a good question. Doug Fiddler says, I don't know why the likes are so low. This was a great show. It's a very good question, Doug. I think some people are allergic to the like button, possibly. Doug Fiddler, May's correcting me. Fiddler on the roof. Doug, is that you? Are you fiddling on a roof somewhere? If so, that'd be really cool. But yeah, I don't know why the likes are so low. We can fix that, though. Maria says, is it possible that altcoin season will come only in 2027? Since it's institutional cycle and needs time for accumulation, the economy needs about 1.5 years to start running in full. I'm kind of lost on the back end of that thought there, Maria. I will say, is it possible for it to wait till 2027? Yes, it's possible. I think highly unlikely that it waits that long. I really, again, you look at different things. I think that we're in early stages of it right now. I think that liquidity and quantitative easing will play a major role in helping people go that direction. The altcoin seasons, though, will not look identical to the past. I've kind of been more vocal about this recently. In the past, altcoin season meant people were taking profit from Bitcoin and running over into altcoins. So you would watch the Bitcoin chart collapse while altcoins skyrocket. I think the future of altcoin season, which in a nutshell is really just more money flowing into altcoins than flowing into Bitcoin, will be a little slower than the past, but it will be people looking at Bitcoin, looking at the stock market, because remember, a lot of people now in the TradFi world, when it looks like Bitcoin and gold and stocks are overbought and they're not good investments, watch whales. Some of them will take profit and move it over to altcoins. Others will simply say, I have more dry powder. Let me just buy more altcoins that are oversold and let it go to the upside. I also don't know if altcoin season will be all altcoins rally at the same time, right? I think there will be seasons where these 5 coins really seem to be special for about a month, and then they get overbought. And then these coins over here that were kind of limited and not really moving very much, then they'll get a turn and go to the upside. It's going to be borderline impossible to know exactly when and how violent these rallies will be. So that's why I tell you, find coins that institutions like and be patient with them. Read their charts, look for breakouts and volumes. There's always going to be ways to trade them, but ultimately, one of the best strategies is just to pick the right ones, do your research, hold on for dear life, be patient, and reap the rewards when they come, because they will come. And I think that will be before 2027. I don't think we're going to have to wait that long.
Some good questions in here.
Yeah, very. I mean, we're going to have to, it's 3:58, so we only have a couple minutes left here. A follow-up from Nathan said, Tim, you stated that you would make an updated video revealing your long-term portfolio that you would not sell until the long term. I don't see that updated video. Yeah, that's one we got to put out here in a couple of weeks. We've already planned out this week's concepts of stuff. Maybe that's a next week video. That's a good point there, Nathan. Very, very good stuff. All right. That's going to wrap up Q&A for today. Got to give, on our way out, though, got to give an update. Some of you guys know we are running the polls for Moon Madness. Smay, can you update us? What is the brackets looking like today?
Well,
look at these. We're in the Elite Eight. We're in the Elite Eight. Caspa and Tau, the 2 Cinderella stories that Crux and I picked, they are facing off. Based on recent results, Caspa's been running through, not little people. Caspa ran through both XRP and Chainlink. Holy cow. Caspa's got a lead. I'll tell you this, though. AVAX 88 going to be a good one. All these are out, by the way. Go to the Tim Warren Trades X account, Tim Warren X account. Go vote on them. Cardano community came out full-fledged last week. All right, let's if you need to step away from the screen.
I don't know why you chose to say that. Listen, it was just so funny.
Minds, get them out of the gutter, boys. Get them out of the gutter. Humor. Innocent humor. All right. Cardano was the leading voter last week, right? So I think we had over 4,000 votes in the Cardano versus Solana poll, and Cardano still won 86% of those votes. Caspa, a little bit less than 2,000 votes. So Caspa community, we've had some conversation on X. I don't hate you. I don't hate Caspa. I own Caspa. Caspa's in my top 15. Look at that, guys. I'm giving you a little bit of more clues on what's my portfolio. I just don't think Caspa should have beaten Chainlink. That's my own point. But you know what? The votes came in. But you're going to have to do some work, Caspa, if you want to get past Cardano, because they look like early favorites right now. Of course, we have HBAR versus Doge, and we got ETH versus SUI. Honestly, the most interesting matchup there this week that I think is going to be hard to call, ETH versus Sui. I think it's pretty clear Caspa community is going to rally once again, take out Tau. Cardano community is going to take out AVAX. Doge versus HBAR will be interesting, but I think based off of results we've seen, I'm going to give the edge to Doge. But ETH versus Sui, that's going to be a close one. So make sure you guys are voting. We're putting all of these out here today, so make sure to go vote on them today. We will announce the winners of the Elite Eight on Wednesday. Why? Because we won't have a Friday show this week. We do have some plans this weekend. No Friday live show, but we'll have a Wednesday show. We'll cover the FOMC live. Come here at 1:50 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here for that. No show on Friday. We'll be back on Monday. That's the schedule for the rest of this week. Tim, be honest, you're pissed Caspa beat Link. I'm not pissed. I just don't think that that was a truthful poll. I think that that was one where the community, but you know what? This wasn't about me. It wasn't about my opinions. I gave you my opinions. If you want my opinions, I tell you my opinion all the time. That's one of my biggest flaws in life. I don't think that I have opinions on things that people don't know about. People tell me that all the time. I had a friend once tell me, Tim, you could speak to rocks if people ever went extinct. That's probably why I'm on YouTube. But yeah, I thought that was wrong, but I'm here for the polls. I'm here for the people. The people said Caspa, but it's not a shoo-in. Cardano's got a chance there. With that said, guys, love all of you. Smash the like on the way out. Why don't you? Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you enjoyed the show, if you enjoyed the education, make sure to come back. We're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Normally, we have videos coming out Tuesday, Thursdays, and most times Saturdays. Sometimes not, but most times Saturdays when YouTube doesn't take them down for weird reasons. Join the free Discord. If you don't want to go in depth yet with the VIP training group, that's okay. Join the free Discord. It's a little extra bonus, a little more information about what's going on. If you do want to go deeper in your education, check out the Tim Warren Trading Group. I promise you, you will not regret it. And again, my guarantee to you that my team didn't even know about, if you join it in 2 weeks, if you don't like it, let me know. We'll give you your money back. That's how confident I am. You will love the group. We will see you next time. See you there. Adios.